for your purchase. I am really looking forward to the next several weeks being your teacher and going through a progressive session, 8 to be exact, with you. And please feel free to email me at any time. I love questions. You can pause the video and ask me questions. I'm not always right by the phone, but I get emails on my phone, and if I can, I'll answer right away if it's a simple question. Here's what you're going to need for this class: a yoga belt. And keep in mind that it doesn't even have to be an official yoga belt. I love these 8-foot with D-ring buckles if you're going to buy one, but otherwise any old tie or a household belt, anything that you have is fine. I highly recommend. I am right now sitting on a ball, and I think that this is probably the solution to all of our problems, because first of all, to sit at your desk on a ball is making you engage your core and put a little arch in your back. We've become too used to slumping against the back of our office chair or car seat, and our arms are forward, and it's just been the breakdown of the entire system. Here's what you can do with it too. You should have one at home and one at your office if they're different places. You can go like this. Oh, this is just absolutely marvelous. Look at how it's stretching all of these muscles, allowing my arms to relax, my heart to open, and my head to just relax back. And I can't tell you how fabulous this feels. I almost don't even want to come up out of it. But just so you know, it is not necessary to have a ball for this session. The only thing that's really necessary is for you to have one of these yoga mats. And you can ask me if you want suggestions for a good mat. But for now, just whatever you've got works. Eventually, a block is wonderful to have. Get the wide one, not the skinny one, because they tend to buckle under you. I love vacuum cleaner belts, old vacuum cleaner belts, because they're good for clasps and for getting tension, you know, and without having to strain your wrists. Always have a bottle of water close by, and maybe even a towel, because when we start breaking down toxins, it's going to, you're going to sweat. And that's what you want. You know that the meridians are flowing, the energy channels are open when you start getting hot flashes. So don't try to fan it away or cool yourself down. Let it come. Unless you're dizzy or even nauseous, then just let that sweat come. I love to have, this is a Zafu, I love to have a meditation cushion because I can really conform it to my butt, and I can sit up as high or as low as I want. If I just want a little lift, I can come down like that. If I want to sit way up high and let my legs relax, I can. But otherwise, just one of those blankets will do, or a little cushion, just a little throw pillow will do. So these are just my tools. This is all you need for yoga practice. Hopefully no expensive gear. What we're going to be learning over the next few weeks, aside from the Hatha Yoga movement, alignment techniques that will help us to heal and come back into homeostasis, and hopefully get rid of the aches and pains and tension in our bodies. We're also going to start learning. Each week I'm going to introduce another little piece, either on Ayurveda, nutrition, yoga philosophy. I teach from the ancient texts, meditation and breath work. So I want you to have all 8 limbs, the well-rounded, full yoga teachings, because just doing stretches without embracing the lifestyle won't get you very far. On the first series, we're going to talk about neck and shoulders, and this is wrists, hands, elbows, all the pain that's happening through here because of this, and because of this. So probably the next series will be on the lower body. So I just want to begin now, as we always do with yoga, and that's in a breathing posture. I am sitting in hero pose. I have a lift between my feet, but my feet are not out to the side. All 10 toes are on the floor. If you don't want to sit like that, sit cross-legged, and if that doesn't work, sit in a chair. Think about the arch in the low back. That's the game. Because if your low back is slumping like it does when you sit in a chair, you're not going to get the full effect and benefits, and you could even exacerbate your problems. And I'm going to take it very slowly all through this session, but for now, just focus on the breath. Imagine that the lungs are filling so much that every time you take a nice inhalation, that the heart has to lift, that the ribs have to expand, and even the collarbones have to lift to accommodate those big, full, inflated lungs. And then imagine as you exhale that the shoulder girdle stayed nice and light and continued to float up there, even though you expelled all of the breath from the lungs. And then do it again. And of course, we use yoga breathing, which is known as 3-part breathing, but we also put a little aspirant sound to the breath by constricting the vocal cords so that it sounds like you're whispering. Continue to breathe and notice how the breath is done both inhale and exhale through the nose. The back of the throat should not be closed off but left open. Notice how much tension we hold in the tongue. It's always trying to press up against the roof of the mouth or even the back of the throat to close off that channel. That engages the brain, gets it thinking. So we relax the tongue, and that's why we try to do yoga without really talking. Sorry that I have to. When I figure out how to mentally, telepathically send these to you, I will. You can even let there be just a little loft at the top and the bottom of the breath as you're releasing and filling the breath. Already you should feel better, taller, and probably even feeling and noticing you're having to work those back muscles to keep your heart lifted, to keep an arch in the low back. It wants to relax. It's kind of a habitual thing. In your handbook, I talk about rote mechanisms, and you can read more about those in chapter 1 and 2. Now, release the breath back to normal, but keep that beautiful, uplifting heart. For the next 8 weeks, I will be focusing on just the theme of contentment. As yogis, we make a great vow. I mentioned the 8 limbs of yoga a little bit earlier. The first 2 limbs are yamas and niyamas. The yamas are the 5 restraints that we practice: non-harming, non-stealing, all of those, not lying, those kind of things. We'll get into more of those later. But then there's niyama, and these are sort of expansions of the heart, practices that we actually put in place. One of those is known as santosha, contentment. And I've been thinking about this lately, and what a great, great vow that is. As a yogi, you have made a vow to be content, no matter what. That puts the obligation squarely on your shoulder. Now, you can't blame or hold anybody else responsible. So let's see how difficult that would be. And if we're up to the challenge, if we're strong enough to be responsible for our own happiness, keep our hearts open and pure and light, and see if we can offer loving kindness as a result. I think we'll be so full of it, it'll be an easier task once we get ourselves feeling better. So here's the first thing you can do at your desk. This is really fun. Give yourself a hand hug. So all I'm doing is crossing fingers. I'm not squeezing, I'm hugging. And your hands will go, oh, that feels really nice. Just as you like a hug, cross it the other way. It's just like, oh gosh, I'm letting my wrists relax. You can even just kind of let them float there. Let the wrists not have to hold the hands in this position anymore. Let them drain, let the fingers drain. There's all sorts of marma points. We're going to talk about that in the later weeks. The marma points run along meridian at really power points where you can affect some powerful change just by pressing on them, just like an acupuncturist or an acupressurist. Now, take your hands back into Namaste Mudra. This is the mudra of honoring, of seeing. I practice yoga because it allows me to raise my heart to a higher vibration, to aspire for truth and consciousness, and to not be bound by those earthly, distractions, I guess. So, and that's the ultimate goal, is freedom from all of that. And when I practice yoga, I see that beauty in others. And that's what this means. That's what namaste means. I see you. I see that in you. Because I've had to work on it in myself. And that's why I can see. It takes one to know one. So now from here, you're going to keep the entire palms of your hands together and just pull your fingers apart. Can you see? I'll put that up against the blank wall. That's called the daisy. And you're going to feel a stretch already all through the back of your wrists, your forearms. If you lift your elbows and let the head float, let the ears float over the shoulders. Don't bring the head forward and don't slouch the low back. And you'll feel this all the way up. We're just opening all of those channels up. Now you're going to just touch the fingertip pads. This is a salamander. And I can look right down that little tunnel. I'm going to try to make it really even. Can you feel this? It's working your hands in crazy ways. Now relax into a ball and just allow the blood flow to pass through the wrists and elbows into the heart, cross the heart, back through the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, into the hands. Just a ball of energy there. Now keep the pinky and thumbs together and grow a lotus flower. See how I open up the petals? And then the stem lifts way up out of the mud. From the mud, the lotus grows. Lift from the very base of the spine up through the heart. And now just bring it back down into namaste. Relax the shoulders down the back. I'm going to pause just to teach you something. You can stay in namaste or give yourself your hand hug back and forth. But I want you to look at my trapezius muscles. The trapezius muscles are actually about that long in the back, from the base of the neck. They go and tie into the ribs in the back. They're huge. But we think of this as the traps because that's where we actually trap stress, tension, and pain. So when you're slouching against the back of the chair, look at how the traps have a tendency to roll forward. You can see their angle, right? But if I lift from my low back, bring myself into shoulder loop, open the heart, lift and broaden the collarbones, my elbows will hang right under the shoulders and my ears will float right over them. The traps just melt down. I don't pull them down or push my shoulders back. That's tension. I just give them the support to relax. And that's an important difference to know in yoga. We don't use our traps because it's holding up a 10-pound ball in this position every day, like that. My head is 8 to 10 pounds. They don't need any more of a workout. They need to relax, let the rest of the muscles that have been relaxing wake up. Now, from Namaste, let's do the sequence again. Daisy, salamander. Really make the fingers bend. Ball, grow the lotus up. Lift the elbows as high as you can. Trust me, I know that your elbows are doing this. This is hard. You have to let the muscles, the traps all the way down between the shoulder blades, have to relax. And then just bring the hands down, let them float down. We're going to do something really fun. You're going to cross your left arm. I'm going to do the opposite because I want to be a mirror for you. So you cross your left arm across the chest, right arm across the chest, okay? Extend the fingers, back of the hands together. You see that? You're going to do something really fun. You're going to hook your pinky fingers, just like you do when you make a promise. This is my promise to myself. This is my commitment to myself, to my contentment. Now, hook the ring finger. Now hook the middle finger. I hear you, I know. Maybe you can't do it. Maybe you have to get your tongue in there. Then the index fingers. But over the weeks, if you practice this, and you can practice this at your computer, you should anyway, you're going to be able to get that. You see the little rooster crown? That's what that is. Isn't that fun? Now you're going to do something really crazy. Your right wrist is on top, okay? That means it's furthest away from your heart. Now you're going to lift the right elbow. You're going to twist your hands toward your right armpit and then bring them around. And again, you may have to do this several times because it really messes with your head. Take your knuckles and just kind of push them into the sternum. Relax the back of the neck. This feels really good on the fingers, and you're going to notice how tender all those little marma points between the fingers are. Just stimulating energy channels. There's so many nerve endings in your hands. You're waking the whole body up. Now you're going to come back. You have to figure out how to get the back of your hands together again, and then just release and let the hands float down. You can shake them out a little bit if you want. Just shake it. Now we're going to do the other side. Right hand across the chest, left hand on top. Back of the hands together. Hook the pinkies, hook the ring, middle, then the index finger. See the little rooster crown? Now lift the left elbow, twist those toward the armpit. You got to tuck it around under there. You see that? And bring it around. Don't get frustrated if you couldn't do it, because your hands are just used to doing one movement all day and you have to retrain them. It's okay. It's kind of fun. Be playful. Be content about it. And then unwind, back to the back of the hands, release, shake them out, let the hands float down. A couple of shoulder circles, lift the heart, fill the lungs with breath, and just notice how much better you feel already. So now give yourself a hand hug again. Press the palm of the hands forward. You feel that stretch on the fingers. Now lift the palms up. Now I want you to notice here the tendency for the head to come forward or the elbows to bend. If you're tied up in the back of the neck and shoulders and upper back, don't do that. I want you to stop here with your hands at this position. Okay? Sorry for the shadows. There's just no way to avoid it. But pretty soon, when you begin to get more arch in your back, if your neck is nice and free, your arms will go straight. And then just float the hands down, shake them out. So now I'm going to show you the 3 hand positions of yoga. And I'm going to just have you come up to all fours. And place your hands, learn to place them exactly the same way on the mat every single time. They aren't back here sometimes, or up here sometimes, or closer here. They're always in the same place. Make a mental imprint on your mat and train yourself to do it the same way every time. Now, I like to be at the front of the mat because all poses move back from there. Come up and make a ball with your hand. Remember the ball we had that we made with our hands, just like this? Take those balls, now you have two, you're gonna put them right on the mat. No hyperextended knuckles. Now, you're gonna stretch the index finger knuckle, all the way through the ridge, all of the knuckles of every finger is going to go all the way down to your index fingers. This down, down. Your thumb is a little kickstand, and if you can't do this, do one at a time. Come down to the elbow and try to bend these hands, and do this every day until you get those fingers to where they will support you like this. And if you're doing this and unable to hold it like this, it's showing you the tension that's in your upper back and neck. And then, finally, you're going to lightly put the heel of the hand down onto the floor. Notice the tendency to dig in, to draw the tension into the traps, to uproot the index finger knuckle and bend the elbows. So we start over. Ball, daisy, heel of the hand down. Ball, daisy, heel of the hand down. From the heart center, imagine a line of trajectory as though there's a light shining in between your thumbs. This way you keep a curve in the neck. I'm not up here, I'm back here, so I can get even pressure down through my hands. And I'm just gonna sit back and stretch. This line of trajectory moves my heart forward and not down. Forward. The entire hand is staying evenly pressed on the floor. Now, I'm just going to have you walk back and come up and just kind of shake it out. How does that feel? I'm going to do something that we call a wall clock. And just to give you, and I'm sorry that I have to go in this dark corner. Let me see if I can, sorry for being off camera there. Get a little light on me. Just to go over shoulder alignment, the loop of energy starts clear down here, comes up, connects with the upper palate, the ears float back, and then it flows down the back. The heart should remain lifted, not depressed like we are all day. So I'm going to stand parallel to the wall, about a foot away, parallel feet, outer edges of the feet, not inner. You're going to have to look. It'll feel funny at first. And I'm just going to take my hand up the wall. Entire palm of the hand on the wall. You can practice ball, daisy, then just the heel of the hand comes down lightly. Even my fingertip pads are pressing. I call it clawing, because that's going to help you connect all these pathways into the shoulder. Then I'm just going to come a little closer in and reach a little further up. Just like that. A little closer in, a little further up. Being mindful of not pushing the head forward and not pushing the hips forward. Now I'm going to take a little step forward, and this is really going to open up this whole area. I'm going to turn kind of toward the line. I'm sorry for this awkward corner, but I think you can see what I'm doing. Now I'm just going to come back over here, and I want you to see the difference on how open this muscle is stretched. This whole lung of this whole side of my body, the ribs, everything are open. And the arm, you can see light between my arm and my back body. The other, I'm still standing up as straight and tall as I was on the other side, but this shoulder isn't quite in that position unless I actually put it there. But you see where we're going for? This is the pivot point. This should be a 360-degree circumference that we made. That's the rotation of the shoulder. And we should be pivoting from here, not from anywhere else. Nothing else should move. So I'm going to show you another variation that you can do while you're at your office or at home. So just lie on the side.
Now I'm a little closer because when I was against the wall working on wall clock, I was a foot away from the wall. Now I'm lying on the floor in the same position, but it's not quite as intense. But then I'm going to try something. I'm going to roll over on my belly, and I'm going to take my arms straight out like a T. I'm going to inner spiral my legs because their tendency is to turn out. So I turn them in. More on that in future classes. Now, I'm just going to slowly roll back over. I just use this hand as a little kickstand. Try to keep your head free. You can put a block under this head here or a pillow if you want. This is deep. This is intense. And I'm getting a similar stretch. So when you're watching a movie or whatever, get on the floor and do some of this stuff. You'll feel so much better. So there's two ways to do clock. You can do it on the floor or against the wall. Now we're going to come back up onto all fours. I call this table pose. And I'm going to adjust the lighting here. Maybe someday when I'm a big star, I'll have the lighting taken care of. So here we go. Let's stretch through the arms. Take the fingertip pads and claw the floor. The whole hand pressing down evenly. Heart moving forward and stretch back. Now I'm going to walk. I'm going to try to keep that alignment and walk over to the right and stretch through the left arm. I'm opening the ribs and I'm trying to return the curves into my back. I'm not letting this happen. Heart drives forward. Now walk the other way, stretch through the right arm. Oh, this feels so good. I have just spent 2 years in academia, 6-7 hours a day on my computer, and I can't tell you how much in pain. When I was done, I said, one thing I know, I don't know how people are living with this pain and not doing yoga. So here's the next little game we're going to do. You're going to turn over onto your right hip. You're going to put your right hand right in the middle of the mat. Ball, daisy, and then namaste hand or flat hand. And I want you to notice the tendency here for everything to collapse. You're going to open up this pectoral armpit muscle, right? Because it ties into the head of the arm bone. Right there, you can feel the little dip. And now, I'm just going to turn my heart up toward the ceiling. Here's the hard part. The ears stay over the shoulders. They don't drop back or tilt forward. If you think of the head as always floating over the shoulders, it will really, just that image, that'll carry when you're driving, when you're walking, all the time. Do you feel how deep this is? Now we're just going to come back. And let's do, I call this crouching kitten. Ball, daisy, heel of the hand. Ball, daisy, heel of the hand. Sit back. Heart forward. Lift the underarms. Don't droop. Arch the back. So nice. I have a mirror here to my side. So nice to have that for reference. So are we ready? We're going to come up. Turn to the other side now, just putting my hip down, planting the hand in the middle. I'm always checking lines. That's what these mats are good for. Claw the floor and then rotate. Heart up toward the ceiling. I'm opening my heart. I am ready to be happy. I'm taking responsibility for it. I'm giving myself the support to do so. And that's what these yoga classes are about, the support to do the things you really want to do and be the person you really want to be. You're giving yourself the support to do that. You can't be that if you're not supporting your own self. You support everyone around you, but you don't support yourself. This is called self-care. So congratulations. And this is not to be confused with self-indulgence. Come back now. Now, you can repeat that. We're going to go to the next side. You can repeat that, but if you're still having trouble here, if
there's still injury, pain, tension, burning, stinging, any kind of that stuff, do not go to this next level. Just repeat this again, trying to get the heart to turn up without this alignment collapsing. If anything is giving out from under you, don't move on. But you can get your feet underneath you and just kind of lift up. You can even put just your shin down and just roll your hip up. You can take your arm up, you can keep it on your hip, whatever. And then come back down. We're just testing it. Can I get a little more weight on there? And then I come back. We're gonna come to the other side, right? I have my hand right in the middle. I'm applying the floor, nice even pressure. I'm checking everything, just like a pilot. I'm constantly checking the instruments to see if everything is okay. I'm not gonna go anywhere else until I know. When I know I'm ready, now see, this shoulder to me is a little more, it's talking to me, it's saying this is hard. This, I'm really having to focus, I'm not misaligning. And I hope that you are not talking, I hope that you are breathing while I am talking. And then come back. And we're gonna sit back into crouching kitten. Now we're gonna grow up, we're gonna take it into a pose called crouching cat. Curl your toes under and really stretch them. By the way, just as we're always kind of practicing these 3 hand positions, you're always practicing stretching the toes, just as important. Now here's the game. Can you keep these stakes, just like a tent stake, just like they are, and lift the sitting bones without jutting forward or rounding your back, right? Try it. Take some thigh muscles, but you also have to learn to lift with your glutes. More on that later. What happened to your hands? Did the heels of the hands dig in? Take the knees wider. Take them and push them apart. Lift and separate the sits bones, and then stretch, paddle the heels down into downward facing dog. The head can release. Remember, there's never jamming in the back of the neck. So looking forward is only if it's allowed to do that and still keep the neck curve. Nice down dog. This is a full stretch. This is a hard pose. If you had to stay here, you're still working here. Congratulations. Thank you for honoring yourself. Aren't you glad you're not in a public class and feeling pressured? You just keep up. Now, sit back. You can sit on your zafu, your pillow. You can sit like this. You can sit like this. I don't care. I just want you to feel the release in the arms and shoulders. Isn't that wonderful? I'm going to show you one more exercise that you can do for shoulders. I'm going to turn to the side. We call this cactus position. My arm, this is robot when the fingers are toward the ceiling. And sometimes I'll do robot pose and push my shoulders down just to get a deep arch in my back. And some of you may, if you've got a rounded or kyphotic upper back, you may have to do this even a little more than everyone else. Center of the back of the head presses down, elbows press down in robot, and you get the deep arch in the back, and then release the shoulder. The shoulder blade should come flat onto the floor. Now, take your arms out, keep them in cactus pose. You're gonna lift your feet. Flex the feet. We're going to learn more about the feet later, but keep the shins parallel to the floor, right? No drooping, no extending. From here, you've got an arch in the back. You're just going to roll across the hips. It's just like a little tick-tock. You go, if the knees were pointing at 12, you'd go 1, and then to 11, and then you'd go to 2 and to 10. And the game here is to keep the shoulders down. Here's a little trick you can do. Put that block between your shins and squeeze it. And that allows you to hold more from side to side. Keep the shoulders grounded. You're going to feel that in all of these muscles. Keep the pinky and the thumb pressing down. You're going to see them come up like that, or you're gonna try to reach the floor like that. I just want you to notice all these things today. Simple poses, but repeating these every day. I want you to do some variation of these every single day, and you're gonna get to feeling better. Now, I'm gonna come all the way over and just relax and let this twist happen. Lift from the core, come all the way over, let this twist happen. Relax. You have to allow the muscles to get long and relax and infuse them with breath. And the deeper you go into the breath, the deeper you'll go into the pose. Now, bring the knees up and put them on the floor. I want you to do this. You're going to take your hand underneath you and just, you're going to feel a whole different stretch right in here on the shoulder. Feels really good. And then release it, do the other side. I'm just tucking my forearm behind my waist. I'm still trying to arch. I'm still pushing my butt down, pushing the center of the back of the head down. Take your free hand, feel the trench in the back of the neck. If you feel a flatness, I want you to play with that until you can feel a trench happen. The muscles on either side of the cervical vertebra should mound and suck the neck vertebra into a trench. And you might have to play with the position of your head and with just how much pressure to press until you can create that trench. And then just relax. And that's going to be a part of healing. Some of us have a flat neck. I do, and it's caused arthritis and bone spurs. They're very painful. I've had to develop some really strong neck tendons, ligaments, and muscles. Now, I want you to just relax your legs down. Your palms are to the side, rolling up. This keeps the shoulders back. I want you to see something. When I roll my palm down, it lifts the shoulder. So I roll it up to open up the heart and lungs. As you lie there, I'm just going to walk you through a nice little guided meditation. So feel free to just close your eyes. And if you have an eye pillow or an eye bag, that's wonderful. Put it over just above, most of the weight, right over the eyebrows, and just a little bit of fabric over the eyes to block out the light. You can do this with a towel if you want. Relax the fingers so that they make a soft curl. If there's still tension in them, you might have to make a very soft little fist, and then with a breath, release them. And they should stay curled. Release the tongue away from the top of the mouth and allow that channel to remain open, even though your breath is becoming more shallow. Allow the teeth to separate, but keep the lips together so that there's open spaciousness to the inner mouth. It almost is though your sinuses even relax when you do this. The cheeks will broaden, your eye sockets will soften, and your eyebrows, temples, all those muscles will seem to just really relax and open. Your ears, everything, and you'll just feel that nice, beautiful flush of release down the spine, down the shoulders. As the breath becomes more shallow, you notice yourself becoming more and more heavy. There's a light heart that shines. It's a light that feels loving kindness and compassion for those around you. It's a light that has sometimes been smothered. Some of the stress and anxiety that we feel, it covers that part of us. It's such a natural thing to feel. It feels so good when we can let go of our anger and open our hearts and just feel kindness, to feel contentedness. Continue to just slow, soften the breath. So shallow now, can't really even hear it. I'm going to just quietly end the video, and you can remain there as long as you want, in a beautiful meditative state of Shavasana.